I love great conversations. Hi, my name is Angel Jones. Thank you for joining me on 12-minute convos where I help you create a brand of your own unique, real self. Listen in as I have conversations with amazing people from all over the world. Good morning, Hilary Johnson. How are you going on this wonderful, beautiful morning?
I am doing great today. Thank you so much.
Hey, tell me, what part of the world are you in right now?
I am in Charleston, South Carolina in the United States.
Oh, sweet. Amazing. Well, which of your talents is responsible for us meeting?
It's actually my podcast. So we connected over that.
Yeah, it's about the doing, isn't it?
That's exactly right. Yes.
Tell us about your podcast.
Yeah, it's called Art of Doing. And, my perspective is, it's when we are doing things that we are really learning, and that there are a million different ways of doing, and that if we can pick up little nuggets from one another, that it helps us become better.
It does. Constantly I'm wondering and considering the model of what happens for us to learn how to walk. Right, it didn't have a college involved in that, and yet the model is one that we don't explore to the fullest, right?
Certainly.
Unpack where we can connect with you. Tell us more of what you're doing, please. Let's do this.
Yeah, absolutely. So, in addition to the podcast, I run an organization that's called Hatch Tribe, and I work primarily with women entrepreneurs, helping them launch and grow businesses. And we believe in two different platforms. One is education, really cultivating entrepreneurs to be better versions of themselves, because there tend to be a lot of things you don't know out the gate when you start a business. And the other side is connection. And I think what we crave oftentimes as business owners are other people who understand it and who have walked the walk. And we really bring women together for that purpose of developing really good relationships and bonds and support.
Community. Who did you learn that skill from? Fostering community and relationships.
It's funny. I'm not actually sure who. And it wasn't something that really, frankly, came naturally to me. I'm an only child. And, although I had friends, I don't think I ever really thought of the word community being part of my experience. And I think it was just as I got older and I realized, there's just a lot of things that are more rewarding with others. That I thought, I don't want to do all this alone. And it's a heck of a lot more fun, especially in business, when you have other people on your team. And I think I learned it the hard way. Maybe that's it.
It's good. You had the foundation of not having it, and now you have it. So you get to choose, which is really great, right? That you chose community. That's great. Tell me, why will you continue to repeat this skill? With teams, there can be challenges, right?
Certainly.
But why will you continue?
I think that it's clear that, you can go far if you go on your own, but you can go so much further with others. And I think that the experience is so much more rewarding, and it's part of it is learning from one another. And part of it is just seeing what's manifested when you have a multitude of people with different experiences and backgrounds and perspectives. And that to me is joy. It's really working with people who are not just like you so that you can learn and grow.
Tell us where we can go to connect with more of what you do via websites or social media, please.
And the website is Hatch Tribe. It's HATCHTRIBE.com. And then it's the same spelling for everything on social media.
Yeah. She definitely has delved into the fullness of her brand.
Yes.
Yeah, we love that. So tell me one other thing that you've done consistently over the last 3 years, please.
I was thinking about this, and I would say one of the things that's been most important for me is just keeping my own personal well-being intact. For me, that means eating pretty clean, but eating consistently and working out and doing some meditation, because I think in order to be able to show up fully in a business, especially when it's your own, if you haven't taken really good care of yourself and your foundation as a human, it's just harder. And so I think that that's been, one of the most important things I've learned is that balance of really taking good care of your human body.
How does it make you feel?
Well, when I do it right, it feels good. But I mean, and listen, it's not like I get it right every day. I mean, sometimes I'll go out and have an extra glass of wine. And then the next day I'm like, why'd I do that? And I think being able to understand the why on both sides is important. It's like, it's fun to blow off and have, some fun with friends, but then you're like, did that really serve me well?
Yeah. I like the model too. You could tell me if you as well. I like the fact that, hey, it's good to have cash in the bank and make withdrawals. It's a different place from being in a scenario where you're an overdraft and you need to make a withdrawal. So I say that to say, yeah, you do have that glass of wine, but by most times you're taking care of Hilary Johnson, aren't you? Is that accurate?
Yes, I 100% agree with this, and it's a balance. And I think it's just knowing if on more days than not, I feel pretty good. That's great. And like, you still should be able to have some indulgence every now and again and enjoy that and not feel guilty about it either.
Yeah. Amazing audience, we are live with Hilary Johnson. Do check her out, the Hatch Tribe, or check out her podcast, right? The Art of Doing. So, Hilary, let's switch gears for a moment now, and let me invite you into my time machine that is surrounded with beautiful, warm, blue Caribbean water. Hilary, what is your earliest childhood memory?
It's funny. I think I have a lot of memories that are very similar. It's riding in the car. And it's being in my parents' car, traveling somewhere, because I was only child. I did have the entire back seat to myself, and which meant I could take a nap and totally lay down, which was cool. But I remember always asking my dad, like, are we there yet? Are we there yet? And his thing was like, he didn't want to go in a straight path anywhere. So it was like, we'd go into the mountains and you'd go down these dirt roads and then you'd wind around. And then instead of turning around and going back the same way to get out, it'd be like a whole other pathway to go where we were going.
I love that. Did you say how old you were? Sorry, I got caught in the image of what you were describing.
I don't know. I remember this probably as early as like 4 or 5, but it continued through all of my life. I mean, there were memories of like the same version of story in a different car, 5 years later. It was a big part of my childhood.
Why do you think this memory is so clear?
Well, I guess on one hand, because it was so prevalent, we did a lot of road trips and they were memorable because we often were visiting family or going to, a unique place. And they weren't always places that were far from home. They could be within like an hour. And it's just, I think that travel's been important to me as I've gotten older. And I think, it probably was when I got bitten by the travel bug. It's like a very small kid.
I love it. So that's your interpretation of that thought picture. Can I offer mine?
Yes.
I love the idea of entrepreneurship and it not being the path that is usually the straight and narrow. It's definitely a winding one type of journey, right? And
yes,
the fact that your father gave you that experience, and even though you're not in the driver's seat, and you're there for the viewing, it's fascinating that now you are in the driver's seat. So it's as though he was preparing you. And now that you are in the driver's seat, it is also fascinating that you are helping other women by giving them a view into what this journey looks like.
Oh, I love that. That is so beautiful.
You're welcome. It's fascinating. The guy right before you, that was on the episode before you, shared something similar with him. Traveling in a car and his parents helping him, but he was reading. It's just fascinating how these things connect here. And he's in Maryland, right? You're in South Carolina.
Yeah.
That's fascinating. Well,
that's great.
If we fast forward to when you were 12, what was your favorite song?
I believe when I was 12, it was about the era of Nirvana, and I really love Nirvana. So I think a song that comes to mind is "Come As You Are." I just, at that age, I love Kurt Cobain,
Well, I mean, it all connects, right? Like, the thing you're helping others with, other women in their businesses, is understanding that they can come as they are, right?
Certainly, yeah.
All right, my friend. Well, we've arrived at our destination, but before we get off of this time machine, there's a small declaration form. So it's yes or no, possibly a bit more. We're going to go a bit quick here. Hilary, have you chosen someone to pass on your skills to?
Yes, 100% women entrepreneurs all the way.
Are you married?
No.
Do you have children?
No.
Do you believe in God?
I do, and I'm very spiritual, but I didn't grow up raised in the church.
Do you have an inner circle of friends?
Certainly, yes.
Do you watch TV for more than 3 hours a day?
No, I'd say maybe 1 hour per day, and then sometimes on the weekends, not at all.
All right. And what about screen time, the phone and the computer? Is it more than 8 or less than 8 hours a day?
Oh, God. Running a business, it's more than 8.
All right. All right. Hilary, after having 1,001 conversations in 3 months in 2016, I came up with a workbook, and the name of it is yours. It stands for your own unique real self. Connected to that is your own unique real statement, your mission. If you had to share with us your own unique real statement, something that represents Hilary Johnson, what would that be?
I would say that I'm on a mission to empower women entrepreneurs because it's my belief that we can change local communities, we can change economies, and we can really change women's rights in a way that's deeply meaningful.
Ooh. Love it. Hilary Johnson, this was a great pleasure. Before you leave, is there anything else you'd like to share with our amazing audience?
I would just say, if you've got that little inkling of an idea that you might want to run a business of your own one day, just do it. I don't want you to land on your deathbed and not have taken that leap of faith. And it is a leap of faith. There's no question. But with the right preparation, you can be very well prepared to do it. And I'd love to help you do it.
Hilary Johnson, thank you for being on 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones.
Thank you so much, Angel. This was amazing.
Thank you for being on 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones. Stay tuned for more from our advertisers.
Diabetes is a mountain pandemic. It's a disease that's not acute but chronic. Similar to this rhyming method, I have simplified the definition, the signs and symptoms, and the complications of diabetes for both adults and children in my books, Poems for Patients, A Focus on Diabetes, and The ABCs of Diabetes for Children. These books are available on Amazon.com, and for more information, you can visit my website, poemsbyaj.com. That's poemsbyaj.com.